Just an interesting thought I was thinking. Leviticus 19, verse 14. You shall not curse the deaf or put a stumbling block before the blind, but you shall fear your God. I am the Lord. But then, over here in chapter 21, roughly verses 18 and a little bit after that, it's talking about, for no one who has a blemish shall draw near. None of your offspring throughout your generations who has a blemish may approach to offer the bread of his God. For no one who has a blemish shall draw near, a man blind or lame, etc., etc., with more of them. He can't draw near and offer food offerings before the Lord and stuff because he has a blemish. Just an interesting thought where people think, it just made me think of women in ministry and that kind of thing. And people think that there's the differences between men and women, and the differences in the roles that we're allowed to play, and the differences in the things we're allowed to do, and why, and all of this stuff. And people have been mushing all of this together and thinking there is no distinctions, and everybody's allowed to do anything they want to do, and all of the rest of this stuff. And I'm just sitting here, I'm reading that, and I'm going, you know what? God himself, very clearly, that's just one example. God has nothing against blind people or people that are deaf. He said very clearly there in chapter 19, verse 14, you shall not curse the deaf or put a stumbling block before the blind, but you shall fear your God. I am the Lord. He very clearly cares about deaf people and blind people, and you are very clearly not supposed to be bullying them or looking down on them or hurting them. He very clearly said that. And yet over here he said, and he has his reason for it, he is a holy God, and he won't allow all about the sacrifices and all that stuff. There can be absolutely no blemish, and that includes blind, and that includes deaf. He said so right there. So very clearly, he very much cares about those people, and we're supposed to be careful about how we treat them. But there are certain things they aren't allowed to do. They are not allowed to do those specific things, go into that specific place in the temple, because the blemishes can't come into that area because God is holy. Just a thought there. God himself makes distinctions. That's just one example. That doesn't make somebody less than. It doesn't make somebody better than. It's just a distinction. And God has his reasons when he does that. Just a thought.